All right, hold on. I'm still. I thought I was on your channel, but I'm still seeing. Guess you were hosting someone.
Oh yeah, it'll take a second for it to go load.
Ah, okay. Great, great. So yeah, what we're going to do is we are going to go ahead and pick up exactly where we left off yesterday. We're going to mount the motherboard and mount the radiator inside of the case.
Okay.
What we're going to need to do is start off with the case. You're going to want to take it, and if you remember yesterday, you actually had it standing up on its feet.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how we're going to start off today. You're going
Okay.
to go ahead and lay it down on its back side so that the big open area is facing upwards.
Okay.
And then you're going to find the little white box of hardware that came inside of the case yesterday. And you're going to open that up, and inside you're going to find more screws than you thought possible inside that small little box.
Okay.
And what you're specifically going to be looking for is not actually a screw. You're going to be looking for a package of what are called standoffs. And I'm going to send you a picture. I'm not sure if I can drop this link in the chat, so I'm going to send it to you on Discord.
Yeah, that's the best.
And you'll be able to see exactly what these things should look like.
Kind of blurry. Can't really see
So
it
as
from
you can
here.
see, and they appear larger in this photo than they are in real life. They're very, very tiny. But they're these little brass things. They have threads on one end, and then they
Oh,
have
right
sort of
on.
a big hex nut on the other. And you're going to need, I believe, about 10 of them.
Okay.
So once you've found those, let me know.
Bag in a bag in a bag. We're getting there. Gave us some zip ties. Okay.
Yeah, for cable management.
Nice. Uh, yeah, those are definitely. Okay, and those are just like regular screws.
There's always a chance they might be a different color. They're usually brass, but they might be
Oh,
black, for
I see
example.
these
They might be
brass ones
silver.
right here.
Okay.
Perfect.
All right.
One,
So,
two, three, four, five, six. Looks like there's about 8.
okay, all right. That's good. That means that they have one that's already permanently installed.
Nice.
Because there's one particular position that never changes between motherboard sizes. So now what you're going to do is look down inside of the case. You can see as it's sitting down, you've got that really big kind of open rectangle on the back.
This part.
And if you, well, take me a while to be able to
Let's.
tell you what it
Yeah,
is.
sure. Alexa,
Yeah,
turn on the
yes.
studio lamp. Thank you.
So, yes, if you look carefully all along that big open area, you're going to see that there's a bunch of little screw holes, and they have little letters next to them.
Yep.
And they don't all have the same letter. What you're going to be looking for is any hole that has the letter A next to it. A
Okay.
stands for ATX, which is the size of the motherboard that you have. And any of those little holes that has an A next to it, you are going to put a standoff in.
Okay.
And you're going to want to get it pretty snug, but I don't recommend necessarily like going in and taking pliers and trying to tighten it down, because it is just going into sheet metal and it will potentially strip the threads. So you want to get in there really snug, but just hand tight.
Okay.
And so if you notice, it looks like there's probably 3 across the top, 2 kind of in the middle, and then another 3 on the bottom. That'll all have the letter A next to them, and that's where you'll want to put a standoff. And the idea behind a standoff is that whenever you go to actually mount the motherboard in the case, all those little pins and connectors and things that are sticking through on the back of the motherboard won't touch the metal and potentially short out.
Okay. So it's definitely the ones that say A, not AM.
So if it has multiple letters next to it,
Yeah.
then you'll still want it to be in that slot. So
Okay.
it basically anyone that has the letter A next to it, that's an ATX.
Cool.
If it has an M, that's a micro ATX. If it has an let's see, there wouldn't be any that have an E E would be extended ATX, but this chassis isn't designed to hold that size.
Yeah. It just says
So,
AM and I, or the
yeah,
three
an
letters.
I is ITX, which is an extremely small size
Hmm. Okay.
motherboard. So yeah, just anywhere where you see an A,
6.
throw in a standoff and get it nice and snug.
Okay. Looks like we'll have exactly enough.
Perfect. Yeah, with some larger cases, like the case that I have is actually almost 3 feet tall. It's a huge case, and so it will also take like extended ATX motherboards. There are even some cases that will take more than one motherboard if you want. Um,
Oh wow.
so yeah.
Would it use them like simultaneously or?
Mm. Pardon me. No, you could actually have two different systems running in the same chassis. So if you wanted to have like a Windows 10 PC plus a Hackintosh, or Windows 10 plus Linux, something like that, rather than dual booting, you could actually have two completely different systems within the same chassis. I've
Okay.
even seen some people modify that where they'll take like the main board out of an Xbox One and put it in the opposite side, which granted the standoffs are not in the same place, so it requires a bit of modification, but I've seen people do it.
Wow. This might take a bit. I had some coffee
Yeah.
today, so I'm like shaky now.
Ah, I get shaky if I don't have coffee.
No, no.
Yeah, well,
Yeah,
I've got a bit of a sleep issue where I need to be pretty highly caffeinated at all times.
for sure. Let's come back to that one. Come back to that.
Yeah, now one little trick, if you ever start to thread something into any hole at all,
Uh-huh.
and you feel like it's not going in right, one of the best things that you can do is back it all the way out and back it out about a quarter turn beyond where it's actually fully out. So still kind of applying downward pressure on it, and then try twisting it back in. Because sometimes that'll just help align the threads by basically taking the threads all the way out and having them kind of drop back down into each other in reverse. It's hard to explain.
Yeah. Yeah, it looks like this one's gonna be a little tricky. Oh, somebody went flying.
Now, one thing about these standoffs is whenever you put the screw in to actually hold the motherboard down,
Uh-huh.
it threads in the same direction. So whenever you actually go to screw in the motherboard, it's going to tighten that up even more. The one
Oh, okay.
downside to that is sometimes you can actually get it too tight, where whenever you go, if you ever go to take the motherboard out, it'll take the standoff with it, which is fine because then you can just pull it off the back of the motherboard manually.
Right. Okay. I hope I don't have to do lots of removal.
Yeah, no, typically with this sort of thing, once you get it all in place, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Unless there's something wrong with the motherboard and you have to RMA it, which is unlikely.
So if you wanted to add something later, would you have to take the motherboard out, or could you just
Well, it
stick a
depends on
card in later?
depends on what you want to add. So if
Yeah.
you want to add a graphics card, not a problem. If you want to add more RAM, not a problem.
Okay.
If you wanted to add something like an extra M2 SSD, you could probably get that in as
Right.
well. There are some motherboards that actually have M2 slots on the back of the motherboard. I actually have a micro ITX motherboard that has that on the back. So if I ever wanted to install a M2 SSD, I would have to take the motherboard all the way out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I guess we didn't talk about a capture card, but I'm using this, where is it? I'm using this external one, the Elgato HD60S right now.
Okay. Yeah, great model.
Yeah.
I one of the well, Larry Herb, Xbox Live's Major Nelson, who I work with, he
Yeah.
has the new Elgato internal 4K capture card that he likes quite a bit. I also have a 4K capture card at my desk that I use for capturing screenshots and videos and GIFs whenever we're doing, if we've got any outbound marketing
Yeah.
where we want to have a capture of the console.
Okay.
I have one at my desk, and it's a USB 3 powered external capture card that also works really well.
So adding something like that is no problem either if I want to get an internal
Right.
one, which I
That'll
imagine I
just.
should, right? Like,
I mean, yeah. If if just for the sake of keeping things clean,
yeah.
certainly having an internal one is nice. I built 4 PCs for our mixer marketing team that are almost the exact same spec as this one, and in each of those we put in the new Elgato 4K capture card.
Woo. How much are those? Do you know?
They're pretty pricey. I think they're about 350 or $400 on their own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably not a big rush right now. I could probably get by with this other one maybe.
Oh yeah,
But
yeah. You'd definitely be able to get by with that
but
one
I'll
for now.
save.
But if
I'll save for the other one.
yeah.
Okay. All those are in now.
All right. Great. So before you go to put the motherboard in, we're gonna do 2 more things real quick.
Okay.
First thing, if you look at the front of the chassis, you see all those white trays that you have there.
Yeah.
Those are for hard drives.
Okay.
Now,
Good God.
obviously, you're not going to need that many because you're only putting in one drive. If you had a massive like 60 terabyte RAID array, sure, then maybe you would need all those, but you don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to take out the top one.
Okay.
So if you see right there, kind of in front of, like at the very front of the chassis, next to one of those little white trays, there's 2 screws, thumb screws, fairly big
Yeah.
Phillips head thumb screws. Go ahead and take those out. And I can't tell if there's 1 or 2.
I think there's 2. There's one
Yeah,
right
there's
there
yeah,
and
there's
then
2
right
on that
there.
one. So yeah, go ahead and take those out. And there's also a chance that there might be other screws on the back side of that tray. But once you take out those screws, the whole tray assembly should just slide out if you pull it up. Pull it towards you.
Okay. Cool. Trying not to drop that screw. It's already out, but he's just stuck in there. There's something.
Oh, yeah. No, they're actually designed so
okay.
they don't come all the way out. You just loosen them
okay.
in there.
All right.
Yeah. So go ahead and try pulling that up towards you. It could be that there are additional screws on the backside though that are also holding that in place.
Looks like it's coming up.
Okay, great.
So taking it out.
Yeah, take that out and just lay it aside, and you're truthfully never going to need it again.
Wait, so we're not gonna put a hard drive in this thing here? Like we're
No,
just...
no, you are. But if
Oh.
you notice, there's the lower tray. We're just gonna put
so
it in
we're
the
just
lower
gonna
tray.
use that. Okay.
Yes, yeah. So what we're doing
okay.
by taking this one out is we're just increasing the airflow. It's one less thing to get in the way
yeah,
of that
right,
front fan.
there's the fan right there. Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
I trust you.
Yeah, and then let's see. You also don't have an optical drive for this computer. I'm not sure if it's something that you want to add. Most people find that they don't really need like a DVD drive anymore because you can just download everything. But if you wanted to, you could actually take out that entire optical drive assembly up top as well.
True. Okay.
I'll leave it up to you.
Yeah, why not? Let's do
okay.
it real quick.
Cool.
Because I mean, honestly, I'm probably not. I can't think of anything I would do unless I was to like install Pro Tools and then I wanted to like start recording music and burn it to like CDs, but I don't know.
Yeah. And this one I believe may also have a screw on the other side as well. So definitely look around. I don't think it's just the single screw.
Yeah, let me get that real quick.
In fact, I think there's 2 or 3 screws on the back side, if I'm not mistaken. There also may be screws at the back of the assembly.
Okay. I will check.
So take a look. Yeah.
Oh man. Oh. I guess I've reached the limit of how far I can stretch from my laptop. It's like everything keeps falling. Alright. Yeah, I'm running a full wired setup here. Everything's wired. All the mics, the headphones, the headsets. Why is this so...
Oh, and I can see where you just laid it down. It looks like there are one or two more screws at the back of the assembly that are going into that thing. You can see them pretty clearly next to those cables.
Okay, I see him.
Yeah.
This one is really a troublemaker right now. It seems to be really in there tight.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, just take your time.
Yeah, I don't want to strip it or anything. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
already looking kind of...
Yeah, make sure you use a large enough screwdriver.
Yeah, let me go
And
get a
definitely put a
large
lot
one.
of definitely put a lot of downward pressure on it.
These two will work, but looks like that one's like a little different. Oh yeah, these are a bit of a different size than the other one was. Okay. Yeah, and it's too tight to do by hand. All right, give me 1 second. I'm gonna grab
Okay.
a...
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
All right.
Let's try this. Oh, that's the wrong scene. Whoops. Okay. How many deaths do we have? Oh, I don't have the death thing on this one.
All right.
0 deaths on this build. All right, let's try this.
Fantastic.
Nobody's died yet. Okay, yeah, this one will work. It's just, God, it's in there really tight.
Yeah. Just be careful. Take your time.
Yeah. It's starting to give, though. Just couldn't find a small screwdriver with a big Phillips head. Oh, I could use a flathead, huh? It's one of those...
Yeah, you definitely can use a flathead.
Okay,
It's always a good option.
let's do that. Let's not strip things more. Okay, once more.
Wow. I've just stumbled across an amazing subreddit called Awful Taste but Good Execution.
Okay,
All right.
take 3. This one's probably a comically huge screwdriver, but... Yep, okay. Turns out that might work. Yeah, I'm going to try to keep this PC mostly for gaming. I don't want to do anything else, I guess, at the moment.
Fair enough.
It's probably better to take that out from the other side, right? That's...
Oh yeah,
Probably
yeah,
the only
definitely.
way, right? Oh, gotta have that screwdriver there. Okay. Just make sure nothing falls.
Okay, so once you have that assembly out, we're going to do one last thing before we try to put the motherboard in, and that is we are going to take a look at the fan on the back of the chassis. And if you'll notice, there's a cable coming off of it, and we want to make sure that that cable is kind of tucked up out of the way so that it doesn't accidentally end up behind the
So is
motherboard
that
whenever you
this
go
one
to install it.
right here?
Well, give me a second.
Oh, my bad. I forget we're not on mix.
No. So not the big bundle of cables down at the bottom.
Oh, okay.
Instead, the fan at the back.
Oh,
Uh,
this fan.
there's
This
you
cable.
know, a single little wire coming off of it with.
Right.
So what you want to do is you want to just make sure that that gets kind of just tucked up out of the way so that whenever you go to install the motherboard, it doesn't end up behind the motherboard.
Okay. Okay. I think everything's out of the way, and we want it laying
Okay.
down like that.
Yeah. Yeah. So you want it laying down.
Okay.
So now what you're going to do is you are going to take your motherboard, and if you'll notice, there's one standoff in the chassis that you didn't have to install. It's a black one that's kind of right in the middle. That, along with the back I/O plate, is going to act as your guide for how this gets installed. So you want to make sure that the I/O ports are lined up and that that center stud is lined up. Be very careful whenever you go to slide the motherboard in to make sure that those back ports get lined up with that little metal cover that we installed yesterday. Because if they don't, it can bend stuff on the little cover and it could get kind of gnarly.
Okay, let me try to find what you were talking about. So it's a black screw somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, yeah, black screw in the middle of the chassis. So it was like
Oh,
one
that.
of the standoffs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So
I
that is
see.
going to act as your guide.
Alright.
That'll fit into one of the screw holes on the motherboard,
Something.
and then that back I/O cover.
Where's the
acts as your-
radiator go? Just out of curiosity.
the radiator is going to mount to the top, but what I would do right now is just kind of lay it on top of the chassis. Those hoses should be long enough that you can go ahead and install the motherboard without having to worry about where the radiator goes right now.
Okay. I wonder if I can just set it right there for a second. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, that totally works. And in fact, if you wanted to end up mounting the radiator there, we could do that.
Whatever's
it'll
best, man.
It'll be easier to mount it to the top.
Okay. Whatever's easy.
So
or
again, make
whatever's
sure you don't have any little cables or anything that end up somehow stuck underneath the motherboard. Yeah, and if you have any protective plastic that's covering things, definitely go ahead and peel that off now.
Yeah. I was thinking about that yesterday. I was like, I hope I don't forget to take that off. Really? Okay, let's see. Okay, none of that has any protective stuff. Okay. Alright, let's line it up then, right?
Yep.
So these holes should go through that thing too, right? That plate that we mounted yesterday.
Yeah, so all the little ports should line up perfectly with that plate that we mounted yesterday, but what you're probably going to need to do is kind of slide it roughly in place and then look back at the middle of the motherboard and try to get that little black stud to fall in that screw hole right in the middle.
Okay, yeah, let me take another look at where that is. Uh-oh, looks like that plate was not in.
Did it pop out?
Yeah, looks like I pushed it out.
Yeah. Yeah, so definitely in that case, go ahead and lay the motherboard and the radiator aside where it's not going to get damaged, and then go ahead and take a look at that I/O port again and make sure we get it popped into place all the way.
Yep. Better now than later for
Mhm.
that to pop out.
Well, if ever there was a time for it, it's now.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
yeah.
Okay. You take
So
a
remember,
look.
the text will face the back,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it'll just be plain metal on the inside, and you'll want to make sure it's just popped in firmly all the way around.
Okay, the bottom part clicked in, but the top part. Okay.
Okay, just use firm
There it
pressure all the way
is.
around, and you should be able to get it in.
It doesn't look like the sides click in or anything. I think it's just the top and the bottom.
Yeah, it kind of just clicks in the corners, and then it should just lay flush the rest of the way around.
Okay. What's up,
All
Mad
right.
Amigo? Not give up yet?
So,
Yeah, we spent thousands of dollars just to give up now.
all right. So, now that you've got that in place, back to installing the motherboard. Again, make sure that no cables coming off of the radiator or coming off of
Okay.
the pump, or the fans, anything like that. Make sure they are all positioned in such a way that you're not going to end up with anything accidentally tucked under the motherboard, because then it will be very difficult to get out.
Let's see, so right there. Is there anywhere I shouldn't touch this motherboard while I'm handling it?
Uh, you're generally fine.
Okay. I just wanna
As
make
long as
sure
you're
I'm
not
not making any
actually.
boo-boos.
Yeah, the static shock is something that you have to worry about. Some people wear these little static-proof wristbands. I bought one time. I used it on one computer build and then realized
Okay.
I never really was having a problem with
Okay.
it.
Yep. See, the black screw is sticking up right there. Looks like everything is lined up. I should
Great.
have brought my phone as an extra light. Let me do that real quick. I want to just shine some light and make sure
Okay.
everything's good. Okay. All right. So, we got that one lined up. Those look lined up.
Great. So now what you're going to do,
Yep. All good.
and double check the back I/O ports to make sure that nothing somehow got misaligned on the back I/O ports, so that you have access to all of those.
All these look good to me.
Oh yeah, yeah, they look good to me too. Now that I can see the video. Okay, great. So now go back to your little box of screws that came with the chassis,
Right.
and you're gonna look for. It's gonna be a fairly small screw, and I'm gonna try to send you a picture of what it looks like.
Okay.
You should have, somewhere between 8 and 10 of them. So it'll be one of the smaller packages. Let's see if. Okay, here is an image of the screws that come with a fractal chassis. I'm going to send you this in Discord, and the screws that you're going to be looking for specifically are the ones that you see in the kind of top middle. Next to, and the image that I just sent you in Discord. So top middle, there'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like there's 9 of them. 9 little black screws.
Okay. Teeny tiny little black screws. Feel like those match the closest, but let me look at all of them. There's only 4 in that bag.
Okay. So
okay, yeah, this one looks right because this one has the proper amount. It's got like 8 or something.
Okay, great, perfect. Yes, go ahead and pour those out, and do me a favor, just hold one of them up so that I can take a look at it.
Okay, will do. It'd be nice to have a mount instead of using the head
Yeah.
cam, but hey, first build. Alright. I've been meaning to get a desk mount just for cameras and mics.
Yeah.
Probably will have to if I'm going to PC game, I think. Okay. Come on, camera, you can focus. Yeah, so it's a Phillips head.
Okay. That it is a little bit bigger than I would have expected, actually.
I mean,
So
I
that
could.
might not be the right one.
Okay.
Um,
There are 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 exactly. But yeah,
maybe it is. Hold on. Fractal R5 motherboard screws.
yeah, because these other ones are the ones that you turn by hand. Then there's like 20 of these other ones, and they look like they have. Oh no, yeah, they have like those weird heads that look like washers.
Okay.
And there's these rubber-looking things. And those are obviously too big.
Okay, well, tell you what then. Maybe that is the right screw, and they've just made the head on them a little. Oh, you know what?
What's
Yeah,
that?
I just found a picture online, and yes, it appears that they just use a slightly larger head than than normal. So,
Okay.
so those are the screws that you're gonna need. You remember all those places where we had a standoff that we installed? That's where
These are
those screws are gonna go. So what you want to do is start putting them in, and do not tighten them all the way.
okay. Just like
Because
we
you're probably
did.
gonna have to, yeah, you're probably gonna have to wiggle the motherboard a little bit to get them all to drop in.
Okay.
So there should be 3 across the bottom, only 2 across the middle, because you remember you have that little black stud that went into one of the holes,
Right.
and then another 3 across the top.
So just get them in.
Yep, just get them in loosely, and then once they're all, just a little ways in, then you can come back in and tighten them down. Again, not super tight. You just want them to be snug.
Exactly. Cool. Okay, got that. Uh-oh, fell over. Oh no. Oh no. Okay. You pesky little screw. All right.
Yeah, just take your time with them. Don't force anything. If it feels like it's getting cross-threaded at all, then go ahead and back it back out.
Of course.
Because these are, these screws you really don't want to get jammed in there and cross-threaded.
True. True.
Because then you'll have a lot of difficulty getting it back out.
Yes. These are just in tricky little spots, and they keep falling. Keep like falling over.
Yeah.
Let me make sure that one is on straight. Okay, that one looks good. 3 more to go, and then we can tighten. Shit, dropped it. Okay, that one's questions in a little bit. 2 more. Try not to pull my laptop off the desk over there.
Yeah, that might be good.
Yeah, that's actually, I got that laptop off Newegg. It's a, what is it, a Lenovo IdeaPad Z710?
Oh, okay.
And it has an NVIDIA, what is it, N50M is what they call it?
N50M.
No, not N50. Or no, it's a 750M. Sorry.
750M.
I can't say words
Okay.
apparently. Alright,
Okay.
yeah, that's it. That's what it is.
See, that would have dated it to about 2013, I guess.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I've
Yeah.
had it a good couple years now. Not a bad thing, but it overheats a lot. Like you,
Released January of 2013, so that would have been a late 2013. Just they didn't do the 7 series for very long on mobile.
Okay, they're all in, so I'm just... Everything looks good, so maybe I can go around and start tightening them.
Yep, and again, just snug.
Just little by
but,
little.
Yeah, no need to like really crank them down at all.
Yeah, definitely. Honestly, should have got a desktop back then, but I wanted something portable.
Fair enough.
There we go. Now I think every time I've tried to play a game, NVIDIA's little GeForce Optimizer app would just
Yep.
have a new
GeForce.
driver and just
Yep.
ruin
Well,
everything.
Yep, that just happens with
Or it would-
NVIDIA in general.
It would just
Yep.
poorly optimize. I'd be trying to play like Arkham Origins or something. Just like, it'd be like, oh, let's turn everything to Ultra and see if your computer doesn't light on fire. It's like, it says you can handle
Yeah.
it, bro. I'm like, okay.
No.
I'm like,
Absolutely not.
no, you can't, sir. I was playing like games that were out on 360 on it too. I was like, it could
Yeah.
barely handle some of those. I used to play Max Payne 3. Okay, I think it's almost done. I'm just gonna double check a few of them here because they look like they are snug, not too tight. Okay. All right. Definitely not gonna fall over as soon as I turn it over, right? Okay. I'm satisfied.
Okay. So now what we are going to do is we're going to go ahead and actually for one thing real quick, if you remember yesterday the pump, there's that extra little power cable that comes off of the pump.
Right.
And right now it is sitting next to a rubber grommet at the top of your chassis. The top meaning if it was standing upright.
Is that the SATA thing?
Yes, yeah, go ahead and actually push that through that rubber grommet, because that'll make it much easier to hook up later if you go ahead and just push it through there.
Okay.
That'll get it out of the way.
Okay. It's through.
Great. Okay. So now, what we're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take that radiator assembly, and you're going to rotate it so that those hoses are kind of going towards the back of the chassis, and the fans are towards the inside. So the part that doesn't have any fans on it gets butted up against the top of the chassis where that kind of metal grate is, where we popped those 2 panels off yesterday.
So, okay. I'll wait for the stream to catch up, but something like this maybe.
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly. So,
Hmm.
if you look at the... Oh, okay, that fan's in the way, isn't it? Interesting.
Oh, this fan on the left
Yeah,
here,
that
that
back
white
looks like
one.
that back fan might be in the way.
Oh no.
Well, actually, go ahead and put it back down there. You may have just had it pushed a little too far back compared to where it'll actually mount.
Oh,
So
I don't know.
you just lay it back in there real quick, and we'll take a second look.
I'm not exactly sure where this goes, but I
Yeah,
just know
yeah,
you
just
said
gonna...
it goes up on the top here. But I mean, there
Yeah.
is like all this here, I guess.
Let's see. I'm just waiting for the stream to catch up. 1 second. Yeah, if you could maybe angle the camera down a bit more
Okay.
as well.
So like that's the things. So wait, is it going? Oh, I can't really point and do all this. Hang on. So is it going into these little things right here? Like these two little guys?
Give it a second to catch up. So it'll be the oval shaped ones on yes, yeah, so
Okay.
the ones that you're pointing to. Yeah, those are where the screws are actually going to go into.
Hmm.
So that fan at the back might actually be in the way.
Mm-hmm.
So what we could do is actually flip the radiator around so that the hoses are at the front. So why don't you just try holding it that way for a second? The cables will be coming off on the wrong side from the fans, but just go ahead and try that. Flip it around and hold it up that way and see if the fan at the back is still in the way.
Let's see. So
Looks like that's going to be a much better option, doesn't it?
okay.
So
Is that
let's
right?
try this. Rather than taking the fans off and completely remounting them, is there any way for you to just slide those fan cables through the space between the fans so that they then come out the back? If not, the alternative is that just grab a Phillips head screwdriver and take those fans and flip them 180 degrees so that the cables are coming.
So we want the cables to come out to the bottom where the motherboard is, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if there's
yeah.
any way to kind of like slide them through the gap, or you can just go ahead and take them
I think we're gonna have
off.
to take them off.
Okay. Yeah, let's do that.
That's not terrible.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry about that. I thought. Yeah. I generally try to have the hoses facing towards the back, but I didn't realize that fan was going to be in the way. Oh, actually, you know what? Before you do that, take a look at that fan on the back.
Okay.
It might actually be adjustable. You might be able to slide it up and down to at least some degree.
Well, I mean, it looks like there's all this grating here. Is it able to just move over an inch?
Oh, yeah. You see how it has those big, long screw holes that's actually screwed into? That means it will move down. So go ahead and use your Phillips head screwdriver on the back of the chassis.
Okay.
Just loosen all the screws and then slide it all the way down and tighten it back up again.
Oh, perfect. Oh, that's so much better.
Yep. I just remembered that because I had to do the same thing on the ones that we built for the mixer team. That's a nice little detail of the Fractal chassis.
All right, Fractal.
Yeah. So just go ahead and move all those screws all the way down, tighten them back up, and you'll be in good shape.
And we don't have to take them all the way out, right?
No. You just have to loosen them so that you can slide them all down. Yeah.
Perfect. Let's see if that's good enough. Okay, very good. Build that. We're trying. Okay, I'm gonna put it as far as it can go, right? Definitely.
Yep, all the way down.
Actually, it makes more sense maybe to tighten these first. Nice. Got Snarg over there streaming. Okay. Those are nice and snug. Okay, so now we can put it the right way, huh? The
Yep.
way we intend.
Yeah, so you'll want to find some of the screws that came with the radiator. There should be some short ones.
Okay, let's do that.
Oh,
Whoa, Snarg with the host. Thank you, sir.
Interesting.
Okay, I think, yeah, this was
All
the
right.
cooler box right here. So hopefully I left. Nope, Aaron didn't leave everything nice and orderly in that box, did he?
Yeah. So there should be some short screws in there.
Okay.
And those will be the ones that actually hold the radiator to the top of the chassis. So those will screw in from the top through that grate into the radiator and hold it in place.
It's possible that I put them over here with a bunch of motherboard stuff. Let's look here.
Okay. Take your time. The last time I saw all the screws that came with the radio, they were sitting on top of the Gigabyte user manual.
Okay, yeah, so it's
loose.
these for sure then. So
Yeah,
I don't
so
need
just
the
grab-
washers or anything, right? It's just those.
Actually, go ahead and grab the washers.
Oh, the washers. Okay.
Are they rubber washers or are they plastic?
Let's see.
Because what they'll do is they'll help dampen any vibration.
Yeah, they feel plastic. So 1,
Okay.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Yeah, go
8.
Go ahead and grab. Yeah, 8. There should be 8. Go ahead and grab those. We'll use those.
6, 7, 8.
And then there should be 8 short screws as well.
Yep. 8 screws, 8 washers.
Great. So, as you saw earlier, you've already managed to identify the proper screw holes that you'll be using. So what you'll do is you'll look kind of down through the top of the chassis and line up those, line up the screw holes on the radiator.
And it's best to keep this orientation still of the case.
Personally, I would actually flip it around so that the grate is closest to you. That'll make it a little bit easier.
Put the
just
grate
to line
on top then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no!
Whoa.
No, I mean, still keep it laying down.
Oh, okay. Okay.
But flip it around so that
Okay.
flip it around so that the grate is facing towards you.
Yes. Okay. Let's do that.
Yeah. So just rotate it.
Let's break everything.
Yeah. No. Let's try not to do that.
Yeah. All right. Okay. And wait. No, we were doing it this way.
Yeah,
Okay.
You might want to
push...
angle the camera down a little bit so that
Oh, my bad.
your 9 viewers can see exactly.
So I get
Exactly.
a good view.
Yeah, so they can see exactly what we're looking
so should
at
I
here.
do anything with these cables right now?
For
coming
right
down the
now,
front?
just make sure the cables are kind of laying on top of the motherboard and they don't get tucked underneath anything.
Okay.
Because we'll need to actually plug those into the side of the pump that's sitting on top of your CPU, but that won't be until after we actually get the radiator mounted in place.
Okay. And we definitely don't want any cables sitting near these fans, right? Okay.
Yeah, you don't want any cables to be touching the fans because what'll end up happening is the fan will hit it and you'll hear just sound, which you don't want. So yeah, you should be able to look through those holes and see the little holes in the actual radiator itself and just line those up. I would start with the middle, so put in the middle 2 screws first, and that'll kind of help nicely support both ends, and then you can put those in. I think you lost a washer too.
Yeah, I did.
So
I got it.
table.
Don't worry. I'm in the future. I got it.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, you're about 10 to 15 seconds ahead of me. Okay, cool.
Okay.
So same thing as whenever we were mounting the motherboard. You're just going to want to get a couple of screws in loosely, and that'll help support everything. And then you'll just go around putting all the rest of the screws in, again, loosely.
Yeah.
And then once you finally get them all in place, then you can go around and start actually tightening them down.
Okay, so I've got the 2 middle ones lined up, but the one here on the right is going into this hole right here, and it doesn't look like it's perfectly gonna... It looks like these hoses are still right next to the fan. Let me move it around a little bit. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Well, those hoses are actually pretty rigid. You'll be able to kind of manhandle them and move them around
Okay.
once you get to
So if I need
much.
to be a little, just a
Yeah,
touch forceful, I can just.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because it's like if I just gave it a little bit of pressure, everything lines up just right.
Great.
Okay, so we put the washer, then the screw, and bada bing,
Yeah,
bada boom.
yeah. So so
Okay.
put the washers onto the screws, and
Yeah.
then put the whole screw in the hole. Again, start with those middle two. So I would do actually the middle top and middle bottom as you're
Okay.
looking at it, and
And then
then
do that.
worry about going in and doing the sides. Probably it'll be easiest to do the other two screws that are towards the back of the chassis, so your right side as you're
Okay.
looking at them, and then save the front ones for last.
Okay. Sounds good. Because that back one is the one I'm worried about. Lining up just right.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. There's a problem with not having a fancy magnetic screwdriver.
Yeah, having to do these by hand. Again, once you get the first couple in place,
No
um,
problem.
yeah, then you won't have to be holding the entire radiator assembly from the back like you are now.
Yeah.
And you may find that you're getting a little bit of resistance as you get further in. And again, that's probably just the screw actually hitting the fins on the radiator. Again, you don't really have to worry about the fins so much. If it was hitting one of the lines, then you'd be in trouble. But I'm pretty sure they line these things up so that that's not possible.
Yeah, that is getting. Okay. And just get it snug, right?
Yeah, just get snug. Uh, I mean, actually, you don't even really want to get it snug just
Okay.
yet. You just want to get it,
Yeah, we want to leave it
most
loose
of the
enough.
way in. Yeah, because you are going to have to kind of
Wiggle it around a little bit.
shift and rotate and wiggle stuff around to get
Okay.
all the screw holes to line up.
Let's do that then. I might have gone too far, but I can always back it out a touch.
Yeah.
We're just going to put some happy little clouds over here. Stay. Good boy. I'm going to leave that about that loose, I think. Where's the telephone? Okay. So that screw looks. This bottom right one doesn't look like it's lined up yet. Okay. That could work. Okay, so now we're going to do the bottom two in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's. There we go. Riveting gameplay today.
It's the game of life.
Yeah.
Right here. Real life.
About to find out I'm not a master craftsman. Actually, they probably would have a merit badge for something like this.
Yeah, yeah,
Nowadays.
yeah. You know what? They really should, and if they don't,
I know they have
uh,
one like relating to like
I think there's one for
video
programming
game.
now.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
programming. Yeah. I know we had was it computer science? I think they had
I
one
think it
for
was just.
computer.
I think it was literally just called computers back in the day.
Yeah, I think that was relatively easy for us back in the
Back when
day.
I was your age.
Yeah. Like, what's a computer? Okay.
Yes, I had this one, and like the picture on the front was like an Apple II.
Oh God.
You remember that one? It was blue background, and it was like a white Apple II with like a black screen on it.
Yep.
Yep. Wow, this workbook was updated in January of 20. Is that seriously what the merit badge still looks like? Guys, come on.
Get it together,
Uh,
boys.
can I submit an updated design for this thing?
I hope so. Be like,
Like
hi,
did
I'm
they?
Jordan. I work for Microsoft, and I'd like to really update the look of this.
Yeah. Now they also, it looks like they also now have one called Digital Technology, which is a much cooler looking merit badge that has the fleur-de-lis in the middle and then actually looks like a printed circuit board. So green on green with the little circuit board connectors going out towards the edges of the badge. It was introduced in April of 2014.
Okay. Well, I hit Eagle in like '06.
Yeah, I hit it in like wait, yeah, like 03 or 04.
Yeah. How
I hit
old
it
were
whenever
you, by the way?
I was 15. It
I
was
think
like
I
a
was
week
too, dude.
before like a week before my 16th birthday, and I remember like that being like a thing where I was like, no, I'm gonna get this thing when I'm still 15.
Yeah. You gotta have it for the bragging rights, which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
beat my
Like how
brother
many?
too, because I think
Yeah,
Phil
it's like
was
how many
older.
15-year-olds actually hit that thing? I'm guessing it's not many.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Couple Eagle Scouts in here. I still wear my ring on a pretty regular basis, and so everybody says, "Was that your high school ring?" And I'm like, "No,
Like no, no.
no."
Yeah, it's funny. I never got a high school ring. I never got an eagle ring either.
Oh, really?
Actually, I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, dude.
Uh,
Come on,
yeah.
come on. It's not too
It's
late.
like, but I even
Is
got
it?
I even got a college ring,
Oh, okay.
that I never wear. Just like,
Didn't you graduate from UT?
yeah, yeah, I
Okay.
did. Yeah, they do those big rings just like A&M does, but
Yeah.
I never wear it. It's too big. It gets in the way of my mouse.
Yeah, yeah. Not ideal for games.
Yeah. Whereas my wedding ring, on the other hand, is just a nice, plain, simple platinum band, that is the perfect size and doesn't get in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah,
Sure, you
that's the only ring I
factored that
wear.
into the design,
Yeah.
didn't you?
Yeah. Now I will say this: I go to I work with a couple of people that went to Harvard, and the Harvard class ring is, a much more traditional kind of English style signet ring that you can either wear on your pinky or on your ring finger. Like if UT did something like that, I would wear it. But the UT ring, as is, quite frankly, is just a little too big.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
it's
imagine
just
the Eagle ring I got is a bit bulky too, but I don't know if it's as big as a UT ring. It's not quite as big as the high school ring either, but, which I
oh,
don't know
okay.
why I got a high school ring. I don't know. It's just that
Yeah, I definitely did not.
nobody's gonna look at that and be
Like,
like,
oh yeah, I went to.
"Oh
Oh,
man,
okay. Yeah, I just looked it up. Yeah, that's roughly the same size as like a,
is it?"
it's probably made by Balfour, which is the same company that did the. Well, they have a signet ring design as well. It looks like, but the one that I see that comes up first looks very much like a college or high school ring.
Yeah, that's probably the one I have.
Is yours kind of square on top, or is it
Yep,
oval?
kind of
Okay.
square. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. This one is. It doesn't even want to go in more than halfway. It's being kind of a jerk right now.
I mean, definitely if you're hitting some resistance, feel free to back it out. Just check the alignment again.
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
Uh,
I think
like,
maybe it's just
yeah,
gone in sideways a few times.
yeah. I mean, again, you're having to go through sheet metal into essentially another piece of sheet metal that only has like one or two rounds of threads cut into it, so it could be that it's
Just gonna be a
uh,
jerk, huh?
just not lining up properly.
Yeah. It's still got two more threads. Oh, hey, we're not sitting fully on the desk, pal. Okay. I'm gonna
Not
back
sitting
it out.
fully on what? No. Okay.
When did you order? They're always slow when I order pizza. Oh, man. Okay, yeah,
Pineapple
let me try
pizza. All right.
realigning.
Yeah. Definitely take your time with it. And have you done any of the bottom screws yet, or have you just done?
I did the bottom one on the right, and now I'm doing the top one on the right. Haven't done any on the far left yet.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
yeah. So these are the ones that
Yep.
are towards the back.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely just take your time.
Maybe we'll get some better alignment here. Maybe that's part of the problem. Hmm. I don't know. So I'm just being a big jerk. Okay, yeah, maybe I could hold it closer. Let's back it out. Yeah, it moved a little bit. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold that.
Okay,
That's why.
fair enough.
Just moving like a immeasurable distance. Well, we're not gonna get a lot done if Aaron spends 2 hours on a screw. Please. Uh-oh. No, still hitting that same. It's getting way too tight. Should I just go do another one maybe and
Yeah,
see if it
just
lines that up
try.
better later
Yeah,
on?
try some of the other ones first.
Yeah, because we're gonna start messing up things. Maybe if I do this top left one, it looks like it is nice. Actually, this bottom one looks perfectly aligned. That's really the only wiggle room I have. Let's see. Let's look at this one. Let me see if that's a good angle or not. Boom, right there. See, he's just a little to the left. Too far to the left.
Do you have your middle screws loose enough that you can still kind of wiggle everything around a bit?
Yeah, I can still
Okay.
move it over. It's just tough.
Okay.
Let's give it one more try. Okay, wait a minute. I have to really push it. some light up there. Yes, yes. Yes. Your light, Guardian. Okay. You guys have played Destiny, but when Gaul kicks you off at the beginning, he just kind of gives you like a soft kick. Like he's like, I kind of want you to survive this. Even though I've taken your light and it belongs to me, and whatever. Just gonna give you a soft kick. I thought he was gonna do more of a This Is Sparta kind of thing, but no. Oh, that's a good angle. Check out my TV, guys.
Yeah.
I think I got that TV when Skyrim was hip. Because I was playing
nice.
it on 360, and it was like, you gotta have a 1080 TV, you gotta have one that's big. So what is that? That is probably a 55? I don't know.
Nice.
Still haven't made the jump to 4K just yet.
Yeah.
Is that better? Oh, I did get it right. Okay. Stream's catching up now. Okay, that one looks good. And this bottom one should be nice and easy.
Yep.
Okay. Hidden washer now. Did you say yesterday that this was the hardest part, or is there something else that's hard?
This is pretty much the hardest part.
Okay.
Getting the motherboard and the cooler installed.
Yeah.
It's kind of the hardest part.
This seems like the hardest thing right now. So
yeah.
far.
Yeah. Because it's kind of awkward. It sort of flops around while you're trying to install the motherboard, and then you have to hold it in place while you're screwing it into the chassis. So it's kind of the most difficult part. There's one other tricky little power connection that's also sometimes difficult, but on this chassis I find it's not too bad because the radiator mounts further forward than it does on some chassis.
Okay.
So you don't have the same really tight fit for the power cable, but we'll get to that later.
Okay. I'm just gonna get these nice and snug, not too crazy.
Okay. And then once you do that, we're gonna do one more kind of quick thing, and then we'll be done for right now because I'm gonna go and run some errands.
Right on, man. I appreciate you taking some time, especially on a
Wait,
Sunday.
hold on. Hold on one second. Oh, never mind. My wife says we have 30 more minutes, so we might even be able to get even more work done, which is good.
Okay.
Because we can actually turn our attention to hooking up some of the other cables. We can turn our attention to hooking up some of the cables to the motherboard.
Cool. Okay. And this last pesky little bugger right there. I'm gonna let it. Yeah, it looks like I'm applying a lot of effort, but I'm not.
Yep.
I just couldn't get this one in at first, and now it's now it's easy as cake.
Great. So, as you may have noticed,
okay.
We're getting actually pretty close at this point.
Yeah.
Now that the motherboard is mounted into the chassis, I mean, if you look at it, it's like, hey, if I think this thing had a power connection here, it could actually turn on, which is
right.
Pretty much correct. I mean, in terms of just hooking up some of the cables to the motherboard and then putting in the power supply, you'd be able to power this thing on without a graphics card.
For sure.
So, with that in mind, we need to turn our attention to actually making some of those connections.
Okay.
So we're going to start off with the. So go ahead and rotate the chassis back around. In fact, you could even stand it up if you wanted to. But I would recommend keeping it laid down flat and just
Okay.
rotating it back towards you so that the radiator is now at the top.
Be nice and careful. Okay. Cool.
All right. So, first thing we're going to look at is the radiator itself. You know, we've got the two cables that are coming off of the fans. Oh wait, hold on 1 second. Oh, okay, hold on 1 second. I need to go help my wife with something real quick.
Okay.
But yeah, go ahead and grab those two fan cables and take a look at all the stuff that came with the radiator yesterday. You should have probably a couple of cables that came in the box with the radiator. So just take a look at that. I'll be right back.
Okay. This might be those cables. Maybe. Hopefully. If they're the wrong cables, it's going to be kind of funny. What's up? Can I borrow your friend if I ever want to build a PC? He's awesome. I did that, and she is awesome. Oh, Carolyn, you mean you worked with Lost at Sea? Dude, she's incredible. Nice. She did yeah, that's right. She did do Snarg's beer cans. Yeah, in the moonshine jar, right? Yeah, that is cool.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry about that. So, yes. So it looks like you found the cables that came with the.
Yeah. One's got like a USB looking thing sticking out of one end.
Yes, which is exactly what that is. So go ahead and lay that to the side.
Okay.
Instead, we're going to use that other one right now.
Ribbon looking things.
Yes. So those two little cables that were coming off of the fans, those plug into one side of that cable. So go ahead and do that. Just plug those. Let's see. Oh, there's actually two of them. Wait. Do me a favor and kind of flip it around so I can see the other end.
So I see four
pins. Are those identical? Like, are both of those cables identical?
Looks like it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. You only need one. That makes sense. I guess if you want to do a push-pull configuration, but you only need one set of those. So just put the other cable to the side. And so the side that has kind of the two ends on it, that's where the fans will plug in. So go ahead and take those fan connectors that you had a few minutes ago that were coming off of the radiator and plug those into those cables. They should only fit on one way, so try to just line up the little plastic guides.
Okay.
And just plug those things in.
Okay. I see those guides. Oh. Is that can't be right, is it?
Oh, wait, let's see.
No, that doesn't. I mean, I'm trying to look at the guy.
Those do look a little weird, don't they? Do me a favor and just hold it up to the hold it up to the camera a little closer.
So it's 4 pins, and the little thing is the guide on the bottom's like on the left side?
Um,
Or what?
it's a little bit weird. Does not look like it is going to go on there the way I would expect. Huh. This is an H100i, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, 1 second while I pull up the manual just to make sure there isn't something on here that has to be removed. Oh. Yes, so yes, there's actually a little thing that's covering up the pins on that connector, so try just kind of pulling gently on the end of the connector and something should slide off and expose the pins.
What?
If I'm looking at this correctly. Yeah, so just kind of pull on that gently and see if something slides off.
Really?
That other cable is identical to this, right?
Yeah, let me look at it.
I'm gonna send you an image in Discord of what this should look like, which makes me think that there's just a
Okay.
cover over the pins.
Nice. Let's see.
So that's what you should.
So this black thing is just supposed to come off, is that? And
Looks like
expose the pins.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Okay. Oh, well. Yeah.
Get it? Did you get it?
Yeah, okay. Let me
Yep.
show it on the camera.
Yeah, there you go. So that will slide into those fan connectors.
I was like, why doesn't this fit together?
Yep,
It doesn't
it's just
look like it plugs in, but now
yep,
it does.
it's just protecting it.
Okay. And then the
And again, it
gun.
should only fit one way, so just make sure you have it lined up properly. You've got that little plastic thing as the guide
Right.
on one side. Push it all the way in so that you don't see any of the pins anymore. Yeah, you've got it right.
One down. One to go. Okay. Let's make sure not bend anything. All right. Got them in.
Now, the other end of this connector is actually going to plug in to the top of the pump that's sitting on top of your CPU.
Okay.
So go ahead and kind of feel up there, and you should be able to feel little connectors. Actually, two connectors. One of them will be USB, standard kind of micro USB. The other one will be specifically sized to fit this funky little connector that they have.
All right. Let me bring this laptop a little closer because.
So it's actually going to be, yeah, it's actually going to be on the on the left-hand side at the top of the pump.
Okay.
So kind of above, if you're looking at it, if you got the Corsair logo, kind of above the C.
Okay.
On the top edge of the pump.
That's right. It was right around here. Okay. So maybe I should spin this around to get a good look at that.
Well, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard to get a good look at it either way, but yeah, you'll just want to kind of feel in there and really just do it by feel.
Okay.
And plug that connector in.
Yeah, I think I could get a slightly better view. Not a great one, but let's not throw things on the floor that we're going to need later. How about that?
Yep.
I mean, I can see the thing, I just don't see where the port is now. Okay. So would the pins be going up or down? Any guess?
That I don't know. From looking at the photo I have here, it looks like the little plastic clip that's on there will be facing towards you, which makes sense. It'll be facing up.
Okay.
So that you can easily remove the connector later if you need to.
I'm going to stick my head a little closer.
Okay.
Oh, I can see it through the grate.
Great.
So there's two of them, right?
Yes, yeah, you're going to want the one that is kind of above the C. So, it's on the left-hand side if you're looking down
Let's
into the
see.
case.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
Well, let's give this a shot then. I heard like a tiny click. Should I feel?
That click probably means that the little retaining clip has clipped into place.
Yeah, it feels like it's in.
Great. Okay. So now you may notice that you've got kind of a lot of extra cable now sticking off of this, so you might just start looking around to try to find a place to tuck those. So if you can like run the excess cable back through one of those rubber grommets, just to kind of get it out of the way. You don't want a bunch of extra cable sitting around. So if there's any way where you can
Okay.
kind of
Where
tuck it
where
away
are these
somewhere,
things going when we're pushing them through the grommet?
they'll just be going behind the back panel. So whenever you go and stand the thing up, you'll see all those cables again.
Okay.
Not
Perfect.
focusing at all. There we go. So yeah,
So
you don't want to like pull them tight through there. You just want to kind of tuck the cable up out of the way, and then we can always zip tie it later on, and just
yeah.
kind of get it out of the way.
Okay. I'm gonna push it through that same grommet right there since it's convenient.
Okay.
Let me go look at that. Just pull it through just a little bit. I'm doing it very slowly. I don't want to accidentally unplug something. Okay, that seems like maybe.
Okay. Cool. So now there was that USB cable that also came with the pump that you kind of laid off to the left-hand side a few
Yes.
minutes ago. Go ahead and grab that. Now, on one side of it, there is a mini USB connector
Mm-hmm.
that comes off at a right-hand angle. That is going to plug into the side of the pump, the left side of the pump, and whenever it does, the cable will be facing upwards. So the turn in it will face up. And the idea here is that it's going to pass up through the rubber grommet that's it's kind of above the pump, behind the fan on the left hand side. Well, actually on the top, as you're looking at it.
Okay.
So it'll pass through that rubber grommet, go behind the motherboard on the back panel, and then we'll come back down to the bottom of the motherboard where it will plug into a USB header.
What? Okay, let me make sure I understand that correctly.
So go ahead and just take the zip tie or take the twist tie off of the USB thing, and we'll work on where to plug it in, and then I'll tell you where you need to route it.
Okay. I think I can see where it's gonna plug in now. Okay.
Yeah, probably you'll be able to see it through that back grate pretty clearly.
Uh, yeah. If that's aligned right. Okay, that feels like it's in.
Okay, so now take the other end of the cable
Mm-hmm.
and pass it through the rubber grommet that is above uh, the pump. So you might actually want to stand the computer up for this.
Okay.
But there's going to be a rubber grommet. It's basically going to be right behind where the hoses are going into the radiator right now. So if you feel behind there, you'll kind of feel an empty space and you'll feel a little rubber grommet. And you're going to pass the other end of that USB cable through that grommet.
Right here.
Give me a second. Yes, that one.
That one. Okay.
Yep. Yep. So it's just going to go through there.
Okay.
So you've got it through there. Pull it kind of all the way through so that all the excess cable is kind of, you know, on the back side of the chassis where you're doing work right now.
Yeah. And so is it okay for this cable to just rest on top of whatever that is on the motherboard, I assume?
Yeah, yeah. You know, you can have a little bit of the loose end of the cable just
Yeah.
laying across the motherboard. It's not a problem. So now, now that you've got it pulled all the way through,
Okay.
if you look down at the kind of the bottom of that back panel where you are right now,
Yeah.
you'll see that there's another little set of rubber grommets that essentially open up where the bottom of the motherboard is sitting right now.
That's that massive one right here.
Yeah, yeah, you can see you've got a whole bunch of cables already going through it. So go ahead and go ahead and push this little cable right through there.
Okay.
So that it comes out on the other side.
All right. Does that look good from this side?
So far from what I can see, yes. Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay. Now go ahead and flip the system back around.
Okay. Awesome. All right, and there's our little friend right there.
So now, if you look at the bottom of the motherboard, you're going to see a bunch of little connectors across the bottom. And a lot of them are going to be the same size, but there's going to be one or two probably that say, you know what, I can see them actually. They're right towards the middle of the motherboard.
Okay.
And those are USB headers. So if you look, you'll notice that the connector on that thing is actually missing a pin at one of the corners.
Yes. So I see these two right here. So those are the ones, right? One of them?
Yes, and so if you notice on each of those as well, you've got a pin that's missing in one of the corners. So that's how you know how to line these things up.
Okay.
Is just take quick pins, make sure the pins match up, and just go ahead and push that into place.
Does it matter which one?
It doesn't matter which one. No.
Is it gonna click or is it really just a...
No, it doesn't click. It just pushes firmly into place.
Okay.
So what that's going to allow is later on you'll be able to download the Corsair Link software and you'll be able to control certain aspects of it, of the pump behavior, through the Corsair Link software.
Great.
So at this point you've got the fans hooked up for the radiator. However, you might notice you still have some other fans that came installed in the chassis. Those are not connected yet.
True.
So we're going to take a look at that one that's at the back of the chassis right now. It's
the one we had to move.
Little fan connector. Yeah, it's kind of sticking off right now. So go ahead and grab that fan connector, and if you look on the back of the motherboard, kind of below the CPU but above the PCI Express ports, there should be another little 3-pin fan connector.
Aaron forgot to move this out of the way. He might have squished the cable. Could I just take out one of these white guys for a minute? And would that clear enough space?
Take out what?
Whatever this is.
Oh,
that wouldn't really...
Wait, so what's happened? Is the cable stuck somehow?
Yeah. We're going to... Maybe I can move the fan. I don't know. Let me fidget with this for a second.
Oh, is it just... Oh, whenever you move the fan down, it kind of clamped it into place?
Oh, sorry.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go ahead and loosen those fan screws on the back again, and you should be able to kind of slide it up enough to get it down.
Whoops. Okay. It's nothing that can be fixed quick. Quick and easy. All right. Okay. pull it back down. And then we're going to tighten everything up again.
And actually, you know what? Don't tighten it up again
Oh,
yet.
okay. Okay.
Because those fans tend to come with a whole bunch of extra cable, and you don't want a whole bunch of extra cable loose inside the
So I
chassis.
might want to.
So you might actually
in there,
want to like kind of to tuck those cables back down in there. So don't even take the twist tie off yet. If you can, take a look on the motherboard. Somewhere right around roughly where that cable is right now, there should be a 3-pin fan header.
No way. Is it? Could it really be that close? No, that's a 4.
Oh, well, yeah, it'll be a 4-pin, but I'm sure that's only a 3-pin fan, but it will fit in there.
I see a thing right there, and it says PCIe X1. Is that what that is?
Yeah, no, that's definitely not it. It's going to be a tiny little connector that just has 4 super small little pins sticking straight out with a little plastic guide above it. I can't quite see what you're looking at because the hoses are in the way.
I'm sorry. Okay, that's why you can't see. Okay, so, right about. Is that it?
Let's see.
Let's see. I'm trying to get you a good angle.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right above the. Yeah, right there. There's those.
It's like off to the left a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, there's that little silver screw right next to it. Yeah, that's what it's going to plug into. So go ahead and plug it in right there. And then tuck the rest of that cable back underneath the fan, and then clamp it down by doing what you inadvertently did last time. Just slide the fan down as far as it'll go and tighten it back up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'll probably work pretty good.
All right, so now our top fans will work. Our back fan will work. Now we have to worry about the front fans and then the front panel connectors. So that'll be USB, audio, power, hard drive activity light, those sorts of things.
Okay, have a look at the way that cable is. Does that look cool? Or is that in the way of anything?
Give me a second. That is perfect.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm a pro at putting cables where they don't belong.
Fantastic. Yeah, so now just go ahead and slide that fan down as far as it'll go and tighten those screws back up, and that should just kind of hold it in place.
All right. I might have tightened it just a touch, so I'm going to loosen it a little bit. Make sure we've got it down as far as we can go. Pretty sure we do. Yeah. Okay.
So I'm curious. You've got 9 viewers right now. Are these kind of some of your regulars?
Yeah, it looks like. Oh, Baggers is here. We got the British invasion in here.
Fantastic.
Yeah, Crazy Red Boy, Carolyn, Snarg, Spoon, and Wolfie. Is that Wolfie? Yeah, I think that's Wolfie.
Well, Spoon, I'm Spoon.
Spoon
is me. I am Spoon.
What's up, Spoon? All right, that looks like that's in front.
All right, great.
Oh, and Geekenstein, our lovely mod. Don't forget him.
Nice.
All right.
Good deal. For those of you just joining us today, we are building Aaron's computer.
Yes. Okay.
I'm Jordan Silverthorne with Microsoft.
Oh, shameless plug. Love it.
Doing remote support. Yeah. So, great. So that cable is now in place. So now you've got that sort of big octopus of cables coming through that grommet at the bottom. So we're going to turn our attention to those right now. Now, one thing you have to keep in mind, eventually you're going to have a lot of cables going through that grommet. That's why it's really the largest grommet on the entire computer.
Agreed.
So what I recommend doing right now while you're putting these cables in is try to get them pushed off basically as far to the left of that grommet as possible.
Okay.
So that you have lots of room to slide other cables through later on. Because the one thing you don't want is to later be sliding a cable through and have it like rip out one of the cables that you've already plugged in.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
So Let's take a look at those cables. The first thing that we're going to look at is there should be, go ahead and take off the twist tie.
Okay.
Get them all kind of separate and loose. You're going to see some that are almost comically small, basically that have like a single pin each. Some of them will have 2 pins, but I want you to keep all of those kind of off to the right-hand side together.
Okay.
And instead, for right now, we're going to focus on some of these larger cables. So some of the ones that have like 9 or 10 pins on the end.
Okay, that one's
Yeah,
good.
so it looks like you found the comically small ones. So keep those off to the side, and we're going to look at these other connectors.
What is that one? Oh, okay, it's just kinked. Alright. So we've got, looks like 3 big ones.
Yes, yeah, one of them will be blue on the end.
I see that.
One of them will be USB, so it'll look exactly like the other one we just plugged in.
Hey, I know what that one looks like.
Yeah, surprise, surprise, it's going to plug in right next to the other one that we just plugged in a few minutes ago. So go ahead and start with that one.
I understood that reference. Quote Captain America. Alright.
Yep.
Okay.
And then you'll have another one that looks very similar to that, but it's actually for front panel audio. So it will typically be labeled as SPDIF. So if you look at the motherboard, you're going to find another little connector that looks like a USB connector, but below it will be labeled either SPDIF or sometimes it'll say HD audio. It's probably that one right next to the USB, if I'm honest.
It says TPM under it.
Oh, okay. No, that's Trusted Platform Module, so it's not that one. So look instead on the very, very back. It looks like it might be at the very back of the motherboard. Well, will be the audio one. Nope, back, the other back, far left.
The other back.
So actually, what you want to do, since
this looks like it.
Yeah.
What does that say?
But if you notice, you've got that extra little hole right there, kind of right below that connector. So let's go ahead and actually use that hole and put this cable through that hole instead of having to drag it kind of all the way across through the grommet. So go ahead and push it back through the grommet.
Oh.
And actually,
okay.
And actually, don't even push it through. Instead, just start to feed the cable through a little ways, and then take a look at the back, and it'll be obvious which one you're feeding back through, because it'll have kind of a big, loop of cable that's already been pushed through, and then kind of pull it the rest of the way through from that end.
Okay.
And instead, we're gonna take it through that other little hole that was right there below the connector.
This little hole right here.
Because remember, we're going to have a lot of cables that end up getting pushed through that grommet, so we want to keep as much space as possible.
So it is definitely going to plug into this bottom left corner thing?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, it'll plug it. So again, it's going to have a few pins that are missing, so you want to make sure that the pins line up whenever you go to plug it in, because some of the pins are blank, just to make sure you don't accidentally put something where it's not supposed to. So that's your front panel audio.
Okay.
And then the other big connector that you had that was blue on the end, that is USB 3.0. And that one is probably going to plug into that big broad connector that you have at the far right side of the bottom of the motherboard in the front.
So that is this thing here.
Now, give me a second. Most likely. So take a look at it and see if it looks like that fits. It should be labeled USB 3.0 underneath there, if that is the right spot.
It's got a bunch of colors. No, maybe not.
What does it say?
Let's see what that says off to the right.
Oh, you know what? That's actually going to be okay. Never mind. That's going to be all your front.
THBC.
Yeah, that's going to be your front panel connectors instead. So look along the right side of the motherboard.
Oh, somewhere, USB 3.0 right here.
Yeah, somewhere along there will be one that says USB 3.0.
Yeah,
is it kind of further up?
To the right of the memory, right?
Okay, great. So same story then. Go ahead and feed that USB 3.0 connector back through the grommet. so that it's loose and not tangled up with any of the other cables. And we're gonna instead feed that back through the top grommet there next to the connector.
Top grommet, top grommet. Come here. Like this one? Ooh, that's kind of tight. Let me have a look.
Yeah, again, make sure it's not tangled up with any of the other cables whenever you pull it back through. And also, there will be probably a little Velcro thing that's tucked underneath. You might have to undo the Velcro on the back of the chassis and just
Okay, let's do that.
pull it loose.
Because it is like super tight. It's not gonna make it. Okay. Okay. Okay, so we could always re-secure it. Okay, and it has a little notch, and I guess that's how you know, because the notch is
the notch is there to make sure you don't plug it in backwards.
Okay, that looks nice and snug. Let me take a look at it, though. Nice, good view. Okay, this camera's... Okay, yep, looks like it's in. And I'll just Velcro that back in, just to...
Yeah, we'll take care of all the cable management whenever we get towards the end.
Nice.
Okay, so now if we turn our attention back down to the bottom of the chassis where those cables were coming through, now the ones that you're left with are tiny, either single pin or 2-pin connectors.
Yes.
These are kind of their own special little nightmare. What you're going to do is go back over to your motherboard accessories, and one of the accessories that you had was a little black connector that was in its own little baggie. And that connector is actually designed it's got a bunch of pins coming off of it, and it's designed to actually hold all of these pins basically into one single connector that you can then plug directly into the motherboard.
Okay.
It's going to be a tiny little baggie. I remember seeing it yesterday. It was a little square baggie with a single connector in it.
Was that the one that's... Was that?
In fact, it might still be laying over there. Yeah. That might be the one you just picked up, if I'm not mistaken.
Hold it in front of the camera.
Although that might be an SLI bridge.
This says Gigabyte.
That looks like a high bandwidth SLI bridge. So it's not that.
That's not it.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, it got a whole assortment of...
Yeah, it'll be a smaller baggie than that, but it'll be just this tiny little black connector.
But they're all...
Okay, so it's not a cable at all. It's just going to be this little black kind of plastic thing with some pins coming off of it.
What is that? That's probably not it either, is it? All these look like cables.
Okay, take a look back over there, because I'm quite certain I saw it yesterday.
Yeah, and I kept everything relatively.
Yeah, so it's still got to be over there somewhere.
Okay, so there's that. There's that. And that. And that. And that. And that. And then we had that thing, which we looked at and decided that was a bridge. That might be everything, unless there's something I put in the box. No.
Let's see. Let me make sure it actually comes with one. C37.
Yeah, maybe if I knew what it looked like, I would recognize it.
Okay. Find out.
It's possible it's just sitting in front of me. Mini fridges are boss. Yeah, I mean, if I'm gonna be pulling off crazy streams, yeah, you gotta have a mini fridge. No, these are connectors.
Okay, so I am once again pulling up the manual.
Would it be in the motherboard manual? Is it? Or is...
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's definitely not. It's all these teeny tiny little things. All these things are labeled too, with numbers and letters.
It's called the G connector.
The what?
In fact, I specifically remember you saying that name yesterday. It's the Gigabyte G connector. But you definitely have it. So check down on the floor, check back over there with all the cables and stuff. But there should be a little plastic bag, the Gigabyte G connector in it.
All right, let me set the camera.
But yeah, put the camera down if you need to.
Let's have a closer look.
I'll send you a picture in Discord of what it looks like.
Okay, let me look at that first. It's probably been staring at it for who knows how long. Oh, that's right. We set it off to the left.
Okay, there we go.
Okay, we did that yesterday. We set it aside, just as
Great.
as one does.
Yep. So that's what you're going to need. Now you'll notice that each and every single one of those tiny little connectors coming through that grommet has a label on it. It'll say either like HDD, LED, or it might say power plus, power minus, etc. All of those little connectors correspond with a connector on the G connector. Now the trick here is to keep the text facing outward, regardless of what side it's on. But you're just going to go through and connect each of those tiny little pins to the G connector one at a time.
Okay, so just to be clear, they go in this side?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Waiting for the stream to catch up. Well, I can't really tell with the way you're holding it, but it'll be on the side that has the long plastic thing sticking off of it.
Oh.
That'll be the way that it goes in.
Okay, yes, exactly.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, they just put them in one at a time. Keep the text on the pins facing, towards the outside edges of the G connector. So, in other words, if you go to connect one of the pins in, the text should be on the inside where you can't see it.
Okay.
From the outside of the connector. Yeah.
Alright, okay.
And just take your time, double check the labels. Some of them will specifically say plus minus. Others won't, and that's how you know you just need to keep the text facing outward. But I think in those cases it actually doesn't even matter.
Reset SW.
It's the reset switch.
Okay. So... So they go like, there's like a top and bottom, and there's like that bar that separates it in the middle? It's like a tiny little, what is that? I don't even know what that is.
Follow.
It's there's like a weird thing in the middle. It's like maybe a separator of some sort?
Yeah, there's probably little separators within the G connector to keep, the two little, the little two pin or the one pin connectors where they're supposed to go.
I see. Yeah. Okay. So there's really only one place for each one of these to go. So
Yeah, there's only one place on the connector for each of those pins.
okay. And like you said, just to confirm, the writing does not face me.
The writing faces outward. So you should still be able to see the writing
Oh, okay.
on
As I plug
those
it
little
in.
connectors as you plug it in.
Okay.
And definitely take your time, pull through as much excess as you need to make it easier to work on.
Start
Just
with
make
that
sure
one.
you
Let's do this
get
one.
them all.
HDD. Let's do that one.
The HDD LED. So that'll be the little hard drive activity light.
So that's HD, and it's got plus and minus. It would plug in there. Right? Okay.
Yep.
Just trying to be idiot-proof. All right. Okay. All right. I think I see how this is gonna go.
Yeah. Yeah, and once you've done one, it's like, oh, okay, I get it. The little single pin ones are probably the trickiest ones.
But if I do the rest, maybe they'll make it easier.
Yeah.
They're kind of wiggly in there. Is that okay? Or is it
Yeah,
supposed to,
they're
like...
not gonna be the sturdiest thing ever until you actually go and plug the whole connector into the motherboard.
Okay, well, I think they're in as far as they can go, but they wiggle side to side a little bit. Okay. Let's see. What is this one? Power SW. So, power LED, which is here on the other side. Okay, that one's in. Okay, the last ones. Oh wait, no, these. No, this one's. These two say power LED plus and minus. Uh-oh. So that one probably didn't go there. That was probably wrong. Or, no, power LED. Why is there two power LED things?
So there's probably power LED plus and power LED minus.
Yeah, and then on this side it's... Okay, so where's my light? Can you see this, or is it a little crooked?
No, I can't.
All right.
Okay, so what specifically are you confused about right now?
Let's see. So, let me wait for it to focus. Come on, guys. Maybe a little less light. Nope. Okay, you're just gonna be that way, aren't you, camera? Okay, well, this thing on the right, it says power LED plus and minus, but then there's another one on the other side that says power LED plus and minus. So is there a wrong one to plug that into?
Interesting. No, I don't suppose so.
Okay.
It's a little odd, but yeah.
Because this little connector here, I can't really. But yeah, these are power LED plus and minus, and they're the tiniest little ones.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay. So I guess if that's error proof, then I should be okay.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Are you sure that one of them isn't power LED and the other one is power SW?
Oh, yeah, you know what? Yeah, but no, they both say power LED on both sides. But the one I plugged in, can I unplug it? Please.
Yeah, you can always
Okay. Yeah.
plug one. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so that one says power SW, and I don't specifically see one that says power SW. I see power LED.
You don't see one that says power SW?
Right.
That's not correct.
Well, I mean, there's a cable that says it, but I don't see a thing on this. What do we call this? The G connector.
On the G connector? Is there one that just says power?
Nope, it just says power LED plus and minus on both sides. Let me see if I can zoom in on that or something. Make it. Oh, here's a picture. Maybe we can look at the picture and see something better here. Alright, so yeah, on one side it says power LED. Let me see if I'm holding that up right on the stream. Yeah, it says power LED, CI, RES plus minus, HD plus minus.
CI? What is CI? I've seen that it says CI before. And then what does it say on the other side?
The other side has power LED, PW plus and minus, and speak plus and minus.
Okay, so PW plus and minus is going to be the same thing as power switch.
Oh, okay, so the power switch goes into that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Then
Speak would be the speaker. You're not doing a speaker. That's just for like error codes. Nobody ever uses that. What is CI? CI. That possibly be.
I have no clue. Okay, so power LED. So there are two places, I guess, I can put power LED, right? And as long as I put the plus and the minus in the right spot, we're okay.
Yeah, I guess so. It's interesting.
I'm going to put them here because it'll be right next to the other switch. Or whatever you call these connectors.
Yeah.
So it'll be in snug, right?
Yeah.
That just seems logical. Because these are two thin little guys, and I don't want them to...
Yeah.
Let's go where they don't belong. That one's being a little jerk. Let me bring that one back in. Oh, man. I wonder if I should do that one first. Yeah, these guys are not friends. They don't want to be together. Go in your home. Don't you want to go in your home? Okay, that's...
So, once you get all these pins in...
This one doesn't want to go down as far.
Well, so take a look, because on some of these, for the LED ones, you need to take a look at, you know, there's kind of this long line on the bottom, and it says plus and minus.
I saw that.
If there's more, you know, if some of those, the pins are right next to each other. On others, there's an extra pin in between them. So you need to actually line up the space on the lines with where you're actually plugging these things in. So, sorry, can you just zoom in a little bit on the connector?
Yeah, so it looks like the negative one is just sticking out a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely don't want that. You wanna make sure you get it in there all the way.
Yeah. Let me...
Yeah, this is one very finicky part of doing a computer build, is getting all the front panel connectors sorted out.
Okay. Okay. Well, that one's in now. Oh, I just pulled it out.
Yeah, whenever the pins get in all the way, they should kind of slide underneath that little plastic tab that sits off. So that little plastic tab should kind of hold them in place.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you end up with something that looks roughly like this.
Need more lighting? Yeah. Just give me one sec. Let's redo that. that's why you can't
There's
see.
2 good images to refer to.
Okay. Yeah, let me look at your image you sent real quick. Oh, bugger.
Yeah, those look like they're in there loose, like they're just kind of in there at a weird angle. They.
Let me just look at the other side. Yeah, this one. So the other one looks like it does have. If I do the other one, it has a separator between the two. I wonder if I should do that.
Sorry, your audio kind of cut out there for a second. So if you do the other one, what?
Okay. If I do the other power LED thing, there's a hole for a pin in between the positive and negative.
Yeah.
So maybe I should do that one.
Yeah, do that one. Especially if those are both individual pins. Yeah, definitely do that.
Yeah, because they're being jerks right now, and they don't want to be right next to each other.
Yep. And sorry, hold on one second.
Okay.
Okay.
Negative, right?
For what it's worth, I feel like if the Asus version of this little connector is much better. But they have a patent on it, so Gigabyte did the next best thing that they could.
Right. So I should look in these holes and pins should be lined up, right?
Yes.
And if not, we're in trouble.
Well, not the end of the world. So, once you get all those things in, then go ahead and plug it into that big broad connector there at the front of the motherboard.
That was that big multicolored looking thing?
Yes. Yeah, so I believe it should only fit in one way.
Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah. So just very gently. And then once you've got that done, what you'll want to do is you'll kind of want to pull up all the slack in those little cables so that they're all kind of roughly the same length, kind of lying next to each other, and pull the excess back through the rubber grommet.
Okay. Let me double check. Let me look at that.
And you might just want to carefully make sure that each of them is really all firmly in the way they should be.
I'm going to redo these two.
That'll probably be the last thing that I'll be able to help you with today.
Sounds good. Yeah, this seems pretty time consuming, this part.
Yeah.
Okay, now I don't see these two pins. These guys are being a little silly right now. Couldn't have just made little slots for these guys? Or just make them into one thing?
Yeah, it blows my mind that no one has just come up with a standard front panel connector yet.
Yeah, come on.
Like, I really wish that everyone would just get together and say, "This is stupid. Here is the standard layout,
guys. Yeah.
Here is the standard layout for front panel connectors."
I feel like this is definitely the easier way to plug these two in on this particular little section of this G connector, but they also keep moving around.
Yeah, and you've kind of got the cables twisted together right now, so you might just want to untwist them.
Yeah, let's go back. Okay. Sorry, let me look at the stream again. Okay, looks good. Let's see what it would look like if I did them side to side again. Plus and minus, okay. It looks like I do have to crisscross them a little bit.
If they're
Is
kind
that
of
okay?
naturally twisted together, then yeah, that's fine.
Because the plus needs to be on that side.
Yeah, what you have to do.
Nothing wants to fit.
Wait, hold on. Are you plugging those into the right port?
Power, power LED. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Why doesn't it want to go in? See, it wants to
Maybe.
go in, like right
Yeah.
in the
Maybe just.
middle.
Yeah. Just use the power LED thing on the other side then.
Okay. Yeah.
A lot of the pictures I see online, it looks like they've used the other one. So remember, just again
Okay.
keep the text facing to the outside. Make sure you line up the pins with the markings on the connector, and pop them in.
She said no coffee today, Aaron. Okay. Negative looks like it's in the right. Okay. Jesus.
And then whenever you're ready, go ahead and plug it into the motherboard.
See if they don't pop loose now.
Yeah.
No, they're side by side instead of.
Yeah, you gotta have that little separation between them, remember,
Yeah.
to line up with the markings.
Like it keeps going in like sideways. It's like, why don't you just stay straight? Oh my god. Okay. If you guys don't be nice, I'm gonna separate you two.
Yeah, this is by far the most delicate work in building a modern computer, simply because no one has standardized the front panel connectors yet for some
Thanks a
reason.
lot, guys.
So, those little connectors that you were just working on should end up kind of on the bottom right side whenever you're going to plug this in. So keep that in mind. So you'll have like the speaker connector will be kind of facing the top, I believe. Just very carefully plug that whole connector into that slot on the motherboard. So on the top, you'll see probably speaker, power, and whatever that other connector is on the far left-hand side. Yeah, just like that.
What happens if one of these slips out?
Then rather than pull the whole connector back out, just try pushing that one single pin back into place.
I think we're gonna have to do that with these. Oh yeah, it looks like. Oh man, would it be
Just carefully.
easier to just plug each one in like this?
Well, it's not supposed to be, but it might be at this point.
I'm just double checking some of the ones I already did. That one feels like it's loose.
I mean, the funny thing about these, especially the single pin ones, they never feel particularly sturdy, even when they are plugged all the way in.
That is terrible.
Yeah, it's one of the most annoying things. And,
Okay,
it
that one's
increased his manufacturing costs as well, because someone in there to the assembly line individually plug in each of these things into the correct spot, and it's kind of stupid.
that is how it's done. Okay. hopefully.
All right,
So if some of
great.
these lights don't turn on, we're gonna know exactly why.
I mean, really, the most important thing is as long as your power and reset switch work, the rest, like the hard drive activity light, the power light, that's just kind of optional.
Right.
So yeah, try to keep all those cables kind of roughly together and pull them
Off
back
to
through, but
the
obviously
left,
don't.
right?
Yeah, yeah, but don't pull them too tight because then you might end up accidentally ripping one out. I usually like to put a little zip tie around the cables kind of just after they've come off of the connector. Uh,
Should we do that
just,
right now?
certainly not a bad idea if you want to grab one of those little zip ties that it came with and just kind of zip tie all those right together.
And probably right about here-ish.
Yeah, kind of right where you have your thumb.
Okay.
Yeah, once you get them all lined up just the way you want, you don't want to go too close with it because then it'll actually put tension on the cables as it's coming off the connector. So you want to make sure you've got enough slack. Yeah, so probably right about there.
Come on, quit falling over, man. Okay, should I snap that thing off or just leave it for now?
Yeah, you know, probably want to go ahead and trim it off, but obviously anytime you're trimming zip ties inside of a PC case, make extra sure not to cut any cables.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Nail clippers, pro tip. Nail clippers or, oh yeah, looks like you actually have a little pair of nippers are perfect for this sort of thing. But yeah, if you don't have nippers, nail clippers are great here because they're kind of a more precise cutting instrument than like trying to go in with scissors with big long blades on them.
Oh god. All right.
Great.
Good
All
job.
right, so you've got all of your front panel connectors done. Now, one other thing, real quick. You see right next there, you have three fan headers that are labeled as System Fan 4, System Fan 3, and System Fan 5. Now, right now at the front of your chassis, you may have noticed you have either one or two fans that came pre-installed. Those are currently not hooked up to anything.
Right.
What you can do is go ahead and look on the back side of the chassis. You'll find another fan, you know, probably a 3 or 4 pin fan connector coming off of those fans. You can route them through that same grommet and go ahead and plug them into those little slots right there that say System Fan.
Okay, so we got this one here on the right, which is that one's on the front, right? Is that what we're talking
Yeah,
about?
that's your. It looks like, yeah, you have one front fan.
Okay.
So yeah, if you can find the little cable coming off of that, and you'll just route it through. Yeah, so go ahead and take the zip tie off of it because it looks like you found it. So take the zip or the twist tie off, route it through that little grommet off on the left-hand side, and just plug it into any of those slots. It doesn't matter which one. So probably the one that says System Fan 5. It's closest to the front panel connectors.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect.
And once you've done that, that should be pretty much all of your front panel connectors. And so from there,
That's a good
the only other thing you have to do is really install the power supply, run the power cables, and then you're done.
Well, cool. And that's something we can do tomorrow, I guess?
Yeah, that's something that we can do tomorrow, or if you want to, because I believe you bought, let's see, you bought what, a Corsair RM750? If I recall.
What is that?
Serves me
Yes,
right.
we did.
That is a,
What's this zip tie?
if I'm not mistaken, a fully modular power supply. So there's a big box. That's the actual power supply itself, and then all the individual cables plug into that. So if you wanted to, you could go ahead and take out that big box and mount it to the back of the chassis using the 4 little screws that come in the box. It'll sit at the bottom of the chassis off on the left-hand side as you're looking at it. And the screws just kind of go in through the back of the chassis, the back panel, and power supply in place.
Yeah, maybe if we look at that for a second, I know exactly.
Yeah,
where
tell you
I
what,
could
let
probably
me
pull
just
it
step
off.
aside for a second and go help my wife with something, and then I'll be right back.
Yeah, give me a minute. The zip tie's being mean to me. I saw your face. Does Aaron look pissed? Carolyn tried to post a link. Whoops. What's the link, ma'am? I can allow you.
Okay, we've actually got 5 to 10 more minutes.
Okay.
So.
Well, good, because we're going to use them all in getting this twist tie off, because it looks like one end snapped and the other end's... Come on, man.
Take your time.
I don't want to have to get the cutters out.
For a twist tie? Yeah, that would be kind of embarrassing.
Yeah. But it's like, it's even like worn out down to the wire now that I've twisted it. And now the other side snapped off, so that's...
Oh dear.
If you were looking for an ultimatum, here it is.
Yeah, I would definitely avoid using the cutters on that, because those little fan connectors those fan cables are pretty small.
Maybe I can pull the cable through. It's still so stupid tight. There might be enough slack. I really don't want to do that, though. I really don't. Let me bring the camera up here so you can see what's happening. This is terrible. Zip tie of doom, or whatever. Okay. Let's see, is that a proper... Yeah, right there. Okay. Yep.
Oh, Major Nelson is online. I hope you see it.
Okay. And it's just so small, I can't even see which way to turn it at this point.
You can't even see what?
I can't even see where to turn the twist tie to get it on.
Oh dear. Well, if you think you can get in there with the cutters without accidentally cutting the cable, then go for it. But just be very careful.
Oh boy, that is kind of scary. Let's see. Wonder if there's somewhere I can put it. Oh, don't make the dog bark. Come on. Trying to... Nope.
Just created a party.
Uh-oh. He comes in. He's like, you guys are doing this all wrong. What?
No, funny thing. Larry, I helped Larry with his computer as well. Whenever he was installing his 4K capture card, he didn't realize it, but he had two GTX 1080 Ti's plus a 4K capture card. It turns out his system actually didn't have enough PCIe lanes to support all of those things. So he ended up having to choose between the 1080 Ti's and SLI, or the 4K, or a single 1080 Ti and the 4K capture card.
All right, now you're gonna die, you stupid little thing. I was able to slip the cable through.
Great.
Just like pull it through. Okay.
Great.
Jeez. All right. So we said we're gonna bring it through this grommet right here.
Yeah, the grommet that's down there next to those other cables that you were working on that has the other front panel cables.
You mean at the bottom?
Yeah.
Bring it through the bottom.
Yep, and then you'll plug it into that little 4-pin fan header that says you can pick which one, but I would just say use the closest one to the front panel connectors, which I've just labeled as system fan 5. SYS_fan 5.
Yeah. So there's fan 4, 3, and 5.
Yep. Let's plug it into 5.
Yeah, let's do that. Okay. And it's a 3-pin thing, and I see where the guide is. Should be easy.
Yep. Great.
Okay. Got it.
You you're getting tantalizingly close to having an operational computer. I just want you to realize that.
Okay.
So, so yeah, go ahead and reach over and grab the and pull the rest of that fan cable back through the grommet so that you don't have a bunch of excess on this side of the motherboard tray.
Okay.
And then you'll reach over and you grab your power supply.
Okay.
And you're going to open it up. There's going to be a bunch of cables in there.
Great.
Just going to leave those off to the side for now because you don't need them yet.
Okay.
But what you do need is the actual box, the actual power supply itself. We're going to go ahead and install that in the bottom of the chassis.
Oh, get my totem chip taken away. You're an Eagle Scout now, but we're gonna have to take a corner off, bro.
Yeah,
I always,
funny.
always
I remember
second guess myself, so yeah. Anytime I look like I'm about to cut towards myself, I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I never had a corner taken off, did you?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you
Yeah.
did? You did?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, there was one time where I cut myself nice and deep while doing some whittling, and it was one of those things where it's like, it won't stop bleeding. I'm just gonna put some duct tape around it.
Oh.
Which actually worked surprisingly well.
Yeah.
Until you go to take the duct tape off.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Oh no. Larry and Ryan are in a party together. That means they probably want to play Sea of Thieves. Oh dear.
Are you late for your Sea of Thieves appointment?
Well, we didn't make any specific arrangement for what time we would do that, but
Uh-oh.
he was like, I mean, when Major Nelson tells you we're gonna play Sea of Thieves,
You kind of don't say no.
yeah, you kind of don't say no.
Okay.
Yeah, I have 300 followers on Xbox. He has, oh my gosh, is this number right? 3,552,430
Dang,
followers.
dude. Okay.
And only 92 friends, of which I am one.
Oh, nice.
Oh. Shadowed Ghost. Who's Shadowed Ghost?
So we got a
Someone else on our team.
power cable. We got some more zip ties. So like you said, setting that aside. Looks like there's a bag here. A Corsair bag.
Yep, that probably has all your cables in it.
Okay.
So you're just going to lay those off to the side for now.
Okay. Perfect.
And you're going to look underneath that big foam thing, and you are going to find your actual power supply. It might even be in its own
in a
little bag.
bag. What?
Yeah.
That is cute.
Yeah, Corsair spends a lot of money on unnecessary packaging.
Yes.
Yeah. So you're going to pull that thing out of the bag.
And then pull that
And-
thing out of the bag.
And yeah, pull the bag out of the bag, and then pull the other thing out of the bag.
Jesus.
And so as you're looking at it, you're going to want the fan to be on the bottom, and then you're going to want you're going to want to go ahead and take out that sticker off the back. But you can see there where the power cable
there's
actually
sticker.
goes into it. So you'll have that facing towards the back, and that just goes in the bottom of the chassis up against that big rectangular hole. So go ahead and put that in place. Fan towards the bottom, so the text on the front is facing the right way up. And now if you butt it all the way up against the back, and if you look in from the back, you'll see a few screw holes that'll line up there. Oh yeah, make sure you don't have any cables in the way.
Yeah, it looks like these are in the...
Yeah, you can just kind of push them up a little bit with your hand while you're sliding it into place,
Yeah.
and they'll be fine.
Let's do that. Okay. So it literally just sits here, right? Or do I have to hold it up while I put it in?
Yeah, you might have to kind of hold those cables up while you slide it into place, and then.
No, I mean the actual power supply, or does it?
Yeah,
just
no,
sit here on
yeah.
the-
So what you'll do is once you put in the screws from the back, that'll hold everything in place right where it needs to be.
Looks like something's not.
Yeah. So there's a little lip on the front edge designed to hold the power supply exactly where it needs to be. So you just make sure that little that little lip. The power supply sitting inside of that little lip. Make sure you don't have any cables that are getting snagged behind the back of the power supply.
No, definitely not. Oh, there's like, okay, there was another.
See what I mean with that little bar?
There was a lip somewhere or a bar or something back there too. Okay, so now that looks great. Yes, sitting
there you
just
go.
as it should be, right?
So now there should have been a little bag of screws that came with the power supply. If you can't find those, there's actually another bag of screws that came with the chassis. It only has 4 little screws in it. But that will be what hold the power supply in place.
Yeah, I'm thinking we didn't get any.
Okay, just use the ones that came with the chassis.
Yeah, I'm just gonna double check.
So there'll be a little bag, as just they wouldn't put it in there with the power cables. So
yeah, that would be dumb, wouldn't it? Oh, yeah. What is this? No, those. Oh yeah, there it is. They're little tiny little black screws, right?
Yep, 4 tiny little screws. So those, if you look at the back of the chassis now, where the power supply is, you're going to see, and they're kind of in random locations, but you're going to see 4 little screws.
3, 4. Oh, well.
4 little holes on the back there.
Yeah. Right.
And you'll just screw all those in, and that will hold the power supply in place.
And then this will be the last thing we do, right?
Yeah, so the last thing that we're doing is actually running those power cables.
Oh, okay.
Because all the power cables that are in that separate bag.
Yeah.
Well, I mean that will take a while. So this is probably the last thing that we're doing for today.
Sounds good.
So tomorrow we'll be connecting those power cables and then powering on. Well, actually, we'll still have to install the hard drive as well. But that is actually something that we could even do after you get the operating system installed.
Okay.
Because what you want is you want your operating system and all of your programs to go on, and all your games to go onto the SSD, and then anything else that you have, like videos or pictures or Word documents, those will get saved to the hard drive.
So these don't separately. Do these go into threads somewhere? Or is it just going
no, you gotta look really carefully because the whole back of the power supply is kind of that round mesh, but you'll see there will be a few little threaded holes whenever you're looking at it, kind of towards the corners, but not necessarily all the way in the corners of the power supply.
I think this one is definitely one right there, because I can see a little.
And same principle applies here. So get all of them in just kind of loosely. And then
that one doesn't look like it's properly aligned. Is it possible I have to wiggle this thing around?
No, you shouldn't.
Okay.
So some of them might not even be in an actual. Going to be in like a little slot that's designed to just hold it in the same place whenever the screw gets threaded all the way in. So I mean, if you could point the camera at it very carefully, I could tell you whether or not you're looking at the right spot or not.
Pretty sure that one is. Alright, let's look at another one. That one looks like one too, because I'm seeing a little bit of thread.
Oh, your audio kind of cut out there for a second.
Whoops, my bad.
Yeah, so it looks like you've already got one in place.
Yep, and then over here, that looks right.
Okay, I'm not really...
Oh.
You might just want to take the camera off and point it at it kind of separately.
So it looks like there's one right there.
Yes.
And then maybe that one.
1 second. Yes. Yeah, okay. The little slot up at the top.
That's 3 out of 4, and maybe the 5th one is that weird thing on the right with a hook or something.
Yes, you are correct. So those are your slots. Yep. Like I said, only really 2 of these are designed to hold it in. The rest just kind of are little slots to make sure it doesn't slide around, hold it in place.
Right.
And it's because they're they're all different kind of sizes of power supplies with screws in different locations, so to allow for all the possibilities on these.
And I didn't put that screw in straight.
So far, this is your first computer build. How have you been enjoying the experience?
Dude, I've absolutely loved this. This has been incredible.
Yeah, once you do it once, it's hard to ever consider going back to buying a pre-built ever again.
Yeah.
There's something incredibly satisfying about building your own.
Yeah, I think so. That one's being a little tricky. I wonder if it's not pushed all the way back in that corner. Yep. Idiot. Yeah, it wasn't pushed all the way back in that bottom left corner. Yeah. Okay, that one's in. And we said the other one was up here in this random spot. Let me back that. I think the hardest thing was probably that G connector thing, and then
Yeah,
and then
those little
these dumb
pins.
screws today
Yeah.
have been kind of mean to me. Okay, one more. And this one looks like it's going to be the hardest one. Okay, I could be wrong. Maybe that pessimism paid off. Holy crap, we got that in.
All right. Cool.
Dang. So how much is left? We said that there are those power cables that we're going to do.
Yep, power cables and then installing the hard drive. And
Installing the hard drive. Yeah.
and then it's pretty much time to power it up and that's it. I mean, since you don't have a graphics card yet, you'll be using the motherboard's built-in graphics.
And how good is that?
You're not gonna be gaming on it
No,
unless you're just
obviously
doing
not.
like Minecraft or something.
Maybe Minecraft?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but not like Destiny or anything. I mean, maybe if you have like the
No.
settings turned all the way down,
No.
but yeah.
No. Let's not be that. Okay. Well, that's in all the way then.
Great.
Looks good.
All right. Cool. So, I think that's going to be our stopping point for today.
Okay.
Let's see, sweetie, how you doing over there? You wrapped up? Okay. All right. Yep. So yeah, that'll be it for today.
Okay. Thank you so much for your
All right.
help.
Yeah, no problem. It's coming along, almost done.
All right.
Cool. All right. Well, I will. I'll catch you later.
All right, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Take care.
All right, stream. That's gonna be it for now. Thank you guys for watching. I hope this was entertaining for you. We are nearly done. Tomorrow's President's Day. We're gonna work on the last bit then, hopefully sometime. And yeah, that'll be it for now. I'm not gonna stream anything tonight because this room is a mess and everything's in the way. But yeah. So catch me tomorrow and we'll finish it up.